What is the one thing that separates us humans from all the other animals on our planet? What is that one thing that has helped us progress so much as a society while other animals have well just remained the way they were? It is our ability to think and our ability to reason. We are able to create new things, we are able to imagine new realities, and that is what has pushed us further and further into evolution. But the thing is, we have even turned such a blessing into a curse. We have turned our ability to think, our ability to reason, and our ability to come up with new things into a curse for our own selves. And that is by overthinking. We have built this entirely new world in ourselves that, oh my god, what will happen here, I'm too confused, something is there, whatever it is. We have created an entirely confused world inside ourselves, and then that world does not actually allow us to use our abilities to the best. That is what we are going to get rid of in this video. Stay tuned as we understand the entire process of what overthinking is and exactly how we can overcome it. Let's begin. So, the first thing is, what is overthinking? We have to understand this, right? Because until and unless we don't, we won't be able to inculcate the changes that we are about to make. And I can guarantee you that after this video, you are not going to suffer from this problem of overthinking again. And you will be able to make decisions in a snap that will be the right ones for you. So, let's begin by understanding what overthinking really is. It's very simple. It's made of two words: over plus thinking. That's it. Thinking, as we know, is a great ability we have. It is something so amazing that it has no limits, it has no bounds, and it allows us to create such a beautiful life. But when you add over into it, and that too in a negative sense, everything starts to go downhill. It's the same as eating pizza. You eat pizza once a month, nothing will really happen. You'll just find it good, you'll taste it, and it won't really increase your weight because you are eating it in a moderate amount. It is not always good for your body, but yeah, you're not eating it too much. But when you eat it too much, when you eat it almost weekly or daily, that's when you start putting on the weight. That's when you see the negative effects of it. And it's the same with thinking. Whenever we are making a decision, whenever we are doing something, we have to think. It's the natural part of us and we cannot avoid it. We have to think, otherwise, we would just be like other animals. But the reality is that we overthink. Just like eating pizza in excess, we are thinking in excess. We are not understanding that, okay, if I have thought this much, if I have planned this much, it's fine. I don't need to add anything else to it. We don't think of it that way. And that is a problem. That is what overthinking really is, when you do thinking in excess. So let me just give an example here where you'll understand how exactly overthinking works and what is it. So let's say that you want to make a decision of buying a new home. You list down your priorities. You want to have a very secured home. You want to have a big yard. You want to have 5 bedrooms. You want to have at least 5,000 square feet. You want to have 2 floors, and it has to be painted very well. All furniture has to already be included. Whatever it is, you have listed down these requirements, and you find 5 homes that match your exact requirements. And you also know that the second home is the one that matches your requirements the best because it has the most security, it has the most steel, and it is also the most affordable, and it is the best one. But still, you're like, is this really the right one? Maybe I should look at the other ones. Maybe I should look at some other homes only. What if I make a wrong decision? This is such an important part of my life, right? I'm making such a big investment. That's overthinking. You know that house is right for you. You know that you want to live there, but still you're thinking and thinking over it, and it does not really make any sense. And that's what really overthinking is. And now we've understood this. Let us cover why exactly do we overthink. The reason why we overthink isn't just because we want to overthink. Our mind is already flooded with thousands and thousands of thoughts each day, and it is constantly trying to conserve its resources. So, overthinking isn't a choice. We don't always choose, oh my god, okay, this is something I have to overthink about this. This is something I don't have to overthink about this. We don't think like that. That would actually not make any sense, and that is why we don't do it that way. The real reason why we overthink is because we have fears or doubts. And because we have those fears or doubts, we think, is my decision right? Am I doing it right? Am I making the right choice? What if something goes wrong? What if this happens? What if that happens? And then that starts a whole chain reaction of negative thoughts and leads into overthinking. Here's a simple example. When you go onto Amazon and buy something, do you overthink? Until and unless it's way out of your budget, you don't. You just see that, you see its reviews are good, so you order it. And then what happens is that it gets delivered to you. That is a very simple process, right? And that is how e-commerce works. And with Amazon, you're completely fine with it. You've seen that company grow so much, it's famous worldwide, and it does business worldwide. And now there is another company, but it's a local e-commerce store. It delivers locals goods and groceries, and you're doubtful. Should I order this? Should I order from here? What if they take my money away? What if they are fraudsters? How do I know? How am I sure of this? Why does this doubt come up? What you're really doing is e-commerce, right? The same thing you did with Amazon, the same thing you're going to do with this company. But why is there a overthinking? Why is there this confusion? Because you have fears and doubts. You don't trust this company. You don't know what it is. And this is valid too. You are putting your hard-earned precious money into something and you want to know that, yeah, this should be good. You don't want to lose your money, right? And sometimes this is good. Sometimes overthinking is required. Sometimes you have to keep all perspectives in mind, and fears and doubts are also necessary because without them we wouldn't survive. We need to have the fear of the red light, and we need to have the fear that we'll collide with someone, and that is why we stop at a red light. If there was no fear, nobody would stop at a red light, and collisions would happen everywhere, accidents would happen everywhere, and traffic lights would just be useless. That's not what it is. Instead, what it is that when you are driving, you are hitting that accelerator, you are pushing down on that accelerator, and then you see only 3 seconds are left, only 2 seconds are left, and you're thinking, can I make it? Can I make it? Now, this is not overthinking, this is important thinking. We need to distinguish between these two. Overthinking is like, unnecessarily extra thinking, and important thinking is giving your thought into something that is really required. And so at the red light, you have to see that if 3 seconds are left, if you can make it or not. And the best thing that you decide is, okay, I'll just stop because you can't really make it. And that's how it works. That is why fear is actually necessary, but only to a certain extent. What we do is we extend fear into everything in our lives. Whether it is our relationship, our profession, our business, whatever it is, we extend fear into everything. We extend doubt into everything. In fact, we doubt ourselves. We doubt our own abilities. And that is why overthinking comes up. Whenever you're about to make a decision, you're fearful that it might not work out, something bad will happen. What if this happens? What if that happens? And then that creates a negative cycle of thoughts in you. And why are those fears there? Because you don't believe that the thing will be possible, that whatever you're doing will be good. And while it is important to consider those other aspects, it often really doesn't matter, and the negative scenarios that you're coming up with are just negative thoughts and they don't really exist in reality. So this is why overthinking comes up. We have fears and doubts, and that is why what happens is that we don't believe, we don't think that this can happen, and then we start thinking of all the negative things that will happen and end up in inaction. What we start doing is analysis paralysis. We keep analyzing, but we don't take any action. That is what that analysis paralyzes us. So that is exactly why we overthink. And then the next question comes is, do we always overthink? The answer is no. We don't always overthink, because just as you found out in the example of Amazon, when you trust that company, when you have belief, you don't overthink, you trust, you know that this is going to be right. But on the other hand, when there are things that you don't believe, that is where doubt and overthinking comes up. So we don't always overthink, and we only overthink when there is doubt and there is fear. Now that we have this clear, now that we know what overthinking is, why it comes up, and exactly when do we overthink, It is time to understand how to actually get over all of this, how to break these barriers and set ourselves free from the curse of overthinking, so that we use this blessing of reasoning, of imagination to our good, to our goodwill, instead of just creating negative scenarios and negative things for ourselves. So let's understand that there are many things that you can do to overcome overthinking, and they can be anything from being mindful, calming yourself, understanding yourself, to planning better and taking more action in spite of those fears and all in front of you. Well, these things are important, these things do matter, but they're just looking at the periphery. They are just like scratching the surface, and they're not really focusing on, finding the real solution and getting to the depth of it, getting to the root of it. Overthinking is just like a tree. And you know what? When a seed grows, it grows two ways. And when it first opens up, it first builds the roots, then it grows. And it's the same with overthinking. When the seed of overthinking is growing in you, right, it will first build strong roots in your mind. It will build that grip. And those fears will grip you. They will literally like grip you, and you'll feel like, how can I ever get rid of them? And then the tree starts growing up, and you start seeing it reflect in your outer world, in your reality. And as that happens, you see that maybe that is where the problem is. The way I'm speaking or the way I'm thinking about myself, that is where the problem is. But that's really not. What you're essentially treating is the leaves. It's just like that the tree is rotten, the leaves are rotting, but you're treating the leaves instead of the root. Where the root has to be treated, when that is done, only then will the leaves prosper. If you just keep spraying the leaves, they will instead die even more. They will instead rot even more. And it's the same with overthinking. If you keep treating just the external parts and don't actually get to the core of it, you'll keep suffering more and more from it, and you'll never actually be able to get rid of it. And so, what we have to focus on is getting to the core, getting to the root, and uprooting it from there. You have to literally take the grip off of the fears that hold our mind, and that is when we'll truly become fearless, when we'll get rid of overthinking, and when we'll be able to prepare ourselves to get to better heights, to get to success, and to do whatever it is that we want to do, and that overthinking is stopping us from doing. And the root is dealing with the fears and the doubts we have. We don't have to think about dealing with overthinking. We have to think about getting over the fears and doubts, because once we are over them in the first place, overthinking will not even be a problem. So let's do that. What you have to do is take a pen, take a paper, and write everything down. Write whatever the fear is that's holding you back. Think about it. Let it all come out. And once it is done, think over each fear. Is this really valid? And what is the worst thing that can happen when this fear comes true? You realize that the worst is not actually as bad as you were thinking it to be. And then you'll also realize that you can actually take action in spite of those fears being there. You feel that, yes, I acknowledge these are fears, but they are not big enough. They are not so big that they will stop me from making the right decisions. And that's where you find your answer. Do the same with your self-doubts. Whatever you're doubting, that what if this goes wrong, what if that happens, and ask, do you really believe in the negative or you believe in the positive? And is this doubt really even valid? Question them, face them right away, and only then will you be able to overcome them. In my book, Explore the New, I have two full chapters dedicated to just overcoming fear and overcoming self-doubt. And in that, I've explained the exact process in very much detail. And you'll find the exact steps and everything. And if you want to do this in very much detail, then go check the link in the description and buy the book there. And it will not just help you overcome your fears, it will also help you build self-belief, build the right habits, and find your purpose and the thing you truly desire to do in life to live a happy life. Overcoming fears and overcoming overthinking is just one part of it. And if you want to cover everything, then go check my book in the description. And also I'm covering the part for, overcoming the fears and self-doubts here. And so this is the overview of how you can do it. That you just have to write them down. You have to face them up front. You don't have to be worried. You have to be vulnerable enough. And after that, tear those pages down if you want to. Don't even look at them again. But first of all, get those fears out of your mind. We are going to uproot the fears this way, and then you'll be able to take action. And this is called objective and emotion free thinking. You're not thinking, oh my god, if this happens to me, if something bad happens to, if I get in an accident, if my plane crashes. You don't think that way. What you're instead thinking is, what is the worst that will happen and if I can deal with it or not. That is objective and emotion free thinking, that is logical thinking, and that is what will lead you to your solution. So once you get over these fears, right, you'll feel that okay, these are the risks, these are the benefits. If the benefits are better than the consequences, you take the decision, you start taking action. If the consequences and the negative effects are more than the benefits, you find an alternative path. It's as simple as that. None of your time is wasted in overthinking, and you're actually able to take a lot of action and start growing in your life. So keep this in mind, keep these ideas in mind, and I want you to comment below and tell me what is it that you found the most valuable in this video. What is the one nugget that is going to help you in overthinking and in starting to take action towards your dreams? So write that down, and I would love to hear all of that from you, and we can have a great conversation. And if you have any questions, do leave them in the comment box too. And then if anyone else knows the answer, if I also know the answer, I'll just reply to you, and we'll all be able to help each other out, and this community will keep growing. So comment below for that, and also subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to put out new and new videos in which I'll solve the specific problems that you'll face on your journey to success, like we did today. We dealt with overthinking. In the same way, we'll be dealing with more and more problems so that you can achieve all the success, all the growth that you want in your life. And we'll keep growing our community. So hit the subscribe button for that, and hit the notification icon for that as well. And share this video with as many people as possible, because if more and more of us start to get rid of this overthinking pattern, right, then negativity in our society will decrease. The kind of negativity we face and all, it will all decrease, and the whole environment will become more holistic, more positive, and that is going to support the growth of everyone. So share this video with as many people as possible, and remember that overthinking is just a negative way that we have used our ability to think. It is beautiful. We have that ability to think, we have that ability to create. That is beautiful. And once we get rid of overthinking, once we get rid of this aspect, we'll be able to enjoy our lives to the best, and we'll be able to become the best version of whoever we want to be.